Okay, I'm live with Rock Star Coach Erika Spencer, and my question for Erika, because she does a ton of short-term rentals, is how to get good reviews for your short-term rentals, like Airbnbs and stuff, and how to avoid them. So let's start with how to get them. What are some common things you want to be doing?
So some common things for sure is to make the whole process easier for your renters. So from check-in to check-out, how do we make it easy, stress-free? We need to remember these people are coming on vacation, so they don't want to, show up and have an ordeal with checking in, with the lockbox not working, with directions. So basically from the get-go, when they do a booking, you initially do your welcome message, you give the location, you tell them how to get there if it's tricky, anything along their way that could trip them up. And then once they're at the property, make it smooth. I do a lockbox, I send them a code. I have a backup key in case something happens, missing, whatever. And then from that point on, just do everything to make it enjoyable, make it comfortable, make it homey, make it feel like they're on vacation, because they are. And then check out, what do they do with the garbage? How do they check out? The whole procedure start to finish, essentially.
How much of this stuff do you have automated, like all the check-in stuff, so that you're not sending all these directions and everything every single time?
It's all automated.
It's all automated. So how do you specifically do that?
So within, I use Airbnb primarily, so you can set up messages, it's just like an auto email responder or something like that. So it's like check-in, boom, this is the message that they get. Then 2 days before, you can send them the lockbox code, or an hour before, however you feel comfortable, send them the code.
So that part's not automated. You have to manually.
No, that can be automated too. You can set it up.
So you're doing email autoresponders to do
within the Airbnb app. So you can set it to immediately upon their booking message, they get a message. And then right before, the day before or whatever, to be honest, I typically do it manually, because I like to have that control, and I like to have that process in my mind. But on one of my properties with a partner, he's very much automated and just does everything, and it just shows up. And I do also, in my check-in notes where I do it manually, they can go back and they can see the lockbox code is there in case I forget or something. So it's all automated.
And all within the Airbnb app, you can
all
set
within
this
that
stuff.
platform. Yep.
Wow.
I've gotten to the point though where I do also text them, so that I do have, because Airbnb, once they check out and their reservation is over, you can no longer go back and get their contact information. So I've made a habit just recently of texting the guest on their phone number, and then storing their information in case I ever wanted to reach out and offer a promotion or something to get them back.
So now you're building an email list for your business.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And now, how to avoid bad reviews? It seems like for good reviews, it's try to think of every possible thing you can to make them comfortable, happy.
Yeah.
And they're on vacation, which is
just pretending you're going on vacation. What would make you happy? That's kind of what I think about. So it sounds easy. It's not always easy.
Okay.
How to avoid bad reviews? I mean, sometimes things go wrong. I have these 2 cabins in the woods, and the power goes out often. And people complain, and I mean, I can't control the power going out, but I can control how I deal with it and how I, respond to them. And you have to be empathetic, because they're on vacation and they have no power, and they can't, when you have no power in a cabin, you can't shower because it's a pump. So just first off, to be sympathetic to them, because it is annoying. It's not great. And then if it's a short-term thing, it's maybe you guys can go to town for the day, and we've offered, we've done gift vouchers, to a restaurant or something, or offered to compensate for them to, go out for dinner. And then if it's a couple days, well, then it's been, sorry, but you may have to go home, and I'm going to refund this many days of your stay, and then maybe offer you a promotion or a price reduction for future bookings.
Okay. And then what about running your Airbnb using a team? How do you assemble everyone? Are you doing that? Are you using a team?
I have a team in terms of a cleaner, property maintenance type of person. So I have those people. I've talked to clients actually that want to do similar to arbitrage a little bit, maybe not arbitrage, but where they take over Airbnbs of other people and then they manage them for you. Mm-hmm. Kind of a sub. I haven't gotten into that, because to me it just seems way more complicated to manage the manager. So I just do that myself. I mean, someone that doesn't want to do that could hire a property manager that would take care of the whole start to finish. But basically your team on an Airbnb would be the cleaner. I think is most important, because the cleaner, my cleaner, will also do Christmas decorations, and she'll buy coffee and creamers, and she'll do buy salt and shovels for the property. So it's not just the cleaner. And then the other major thing with like remote or cottage rentals is garbage. Garbage is always an issue because there's not like municipal pickup on the road. So it's like, do the guests have to bring it home, which is obviously not ideal, or do they just leave it there? But then, in the summertime when it's 35 degrees, it's hot and stinky in a shed. So then someone has to come and pick it up. And then the local dumps you have to pay money to go there, and you can only go there if you're a resident, and you have to all the tags. Like, it's just a process that we don't think about living in, the GTA. So stuff like that. Snow removal is another big one because I'm not up there every day to, shovel. And if I was, I probably wouldn't. But someone has to be there so that when the guest arrives, they're not driving through 2 feet of snow. So those are basically your most important team players.
Yeah, so it's a lot to think about, eh?
Yeah.
But with that comes cash flow from the short-term rentals.
Yes.
And so a lot of investors that we're talking to right now are actually asking about short-term rentals. Just with rates creeping up, now they're looking to increase cash flow certain ways. Mm-hmm. So just general advice about short-term rentals for someone doing it for the first time. Is it just kind of putting yourself in the shoes of the person staying there and doing everything you possibly can?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to when you're first looking, I guess, right? So when you're looking for a property, find a property that will cash flow the most, which as investors, that seems like a very basic principle. But for a cottage, it's buy something that you can rent in the winter and the spring, like all seasons, right? So 4 season, but also make it attractive during those seasons. Like, just to have a cottage that's winterized, if there's nothing to do in the winter, like if you're not near, cross-country ski trails or a snowmobile trail or a lake that you can go ice fishing on, then it's not going to be attractive as opposed to other properties that would be advertised that have, those access to a ski hill or something like that. So that's most important. Find something that is rentable all the time. And then when I first started, I would do really low booking rates, like just to kind of get into the market, because the whole thing with Airbnb and any sort of rental platform is reviews. You need to be a good host. You need to have good reviews. Otherwise, your listing doesn't show up as high or as often. So then you won't get those bookings. And obviously people read reviews. There's always people that leave bad reviews no matter what you do. And that goes with anything, I guess, even TripAdvisor and all those platforms.
Like one little thing could be off and it's like, oh, the creamers were out, 3 stars.
I keep getting, one of my cabins has dead ladybugs because it was cold and then it got warm and the lady, they come alive and they creep around. So the cleaners clean them. But if you have a couple days between bookings, then there's a couple dead ladybugs around. But people are mentioning this in their review, and it's like, wow, how do we address the dead ladybugs? It's just something so small that's like, there was coffee there was creamers, it was beautifully decorated for Christmas, but they complained about the dead ladybug that they saw on the windowsill.
Yeah.
Okay, some people just like to complain. That's
sure.
Right. So at the end of the day, you kind of have to. It's like trying to please everybody in life. You're never going to do it. So you try to do the big things. Like Tom always talks about the Disney experience. I know we've talked about that in our coaches meetings, where you go to Disney with your family and you forget when you come home the lineups, the heat, the prices, the everything else about Disney that's crazy. All you remember is, oh, Disney is so magical. And then, right, it's just hitting the key points, I think, is the same kind of principle.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Erika.
No problem.